Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the English news from Djibouti channels. Here are the headlines of our editions tonight. Inaugurations of gas stations in RTD regions. On continental news, Kenyan break the world record for the half marathon in Valencia. That were our top stories. Now let's get to the details. Opening of the petroleum distribution stations in Tajura. The city of Tajura has been the arrival today of many personalities, including the President of the Assembly, the Minister of Energy, as well as the Minister Delegate for Decentralizations on the occasions of the opening the new stations distribution of petroleum product of the company Ruby, which extended its activities and is not contained to be present only in the capital Djibouti. The Sultan of Tajura and his vizier also honored with their presence this inauguration ceremony for the new petrol station. The new Ruby services stations took over from the former Shell stations, which operated from a dozen years, from the early 80s until the outbreak of the civil conflict in 1991, when it had to stop working at the main point of distributions and sales of petroleum products. The new petrol stations has been named Station Services Daoud Ahmed Adab. It took a lot of effort and perseverance to see Tajura city has a modern gas stations and meet the operating standards of this type of activities. The creations of the new Tajura bore through, which is refueling of the service station, is carried out and which simplifies loading and unloading operation, is an essential factor. A service station that deliver or tip of petroleum product from gas oil, gasoline or kerosene, as well as liquefied gas butanes, become a central and nerve center in a booming city. It will long enjoy this exclusivity to meet the needs of all types of vehicles until the appearance of other competing point of sale. The prefect of the city White region welcomed the opening of his service station, which fits perfectly in the context of economic expansions of Tajura regions. As a sign of encouragement of the opening of this petrol station in Tajura, which constituted development of the auxiliary commercial activity and also the reinforcement of the implementations of the process of decentralization. Two members of the government took part in the inaugurations this morning in Tajura. Speaking at the gallery, the Minister of Decentralizations, Mr. Aramis, congratulated the Daoud Ahmed Adab family for the opening of the stations founded in 1980 by the now deceased Patriarch Daoud. Now with this opening, Tajura is endowed with a point of sale of petroleum products on the spot of the benefit of local consumers and motorists passing through the region. The population of Tajura benefits the availability of services like the populations of the capital. The Minister of Energy recalled that the new petroleum distributions company took over from the former Shell petrol station, which had to stop operating in 1991 following the civil conflict. The United Nations Children Organization UNICEF today handed over the Ministry of Health a refrigerated truck to carry vaccines, a batch of about 30 solar freezers and 10 electric refrigerators with their inverters, as well as 2 cold rooms and 40 cube meters to be used to keep vaccines in remote area of the country. The cold chain of health posted in the interior region in those reinforced. The total cost of these donations is estimated about 3,000 or about 54 million francs. During this donation ceremony, the Minister of Health did not fail to thank UNICEF and the GAVI agency proposes contributions to the benefit of health center of the outskirts of Djibouti city and health posts, rural areas. The donation ceremony took place in the presence of the UNICEF representative, Mrs. Nabo, and many manager of the Department of Health. Lately, officials from the Ministry of Health have received practical training in the use and maintenance of refrigeration appliances powered by solar energy. UNICEF representative Janabo praised the government's effort to promote immunizations policy for all. Let's see here, and she thanks all over the employees of the ministry for their support. For his part, the Minister of Health, Dr. Jama Al-Mu'akkiya, said that through this strategy of strengthening solar equipment, the Health Department ensured the sustainability of the cold chain on the existing stations and central in the regions of the country. The Secretary of State for Youth and Sports, Mr. Hassan Mohammed Kamil, received this morning Mrs. Fatuma Mohammed Abitu, Professor of Language at the University of Samara. Mrs. Fatuma Mohammed Abitu was accompanied by 5 parliamentarians from the National Assembly, namely Fatuma Daoud Hamad, Mohammed Hamad, as well as Hadi Ahmed, Hussein Abdul Qadir, and Fatima Mohammed Hamadou. The minister, surrounded by his close collaborators, warmly welcomed Professor Fatima Mohammed, congratulating her for her work, whose continuing aims to stimulate, preserve, and safeguard the culture and traditions of the Afar community. Mrs. Fatima Mohammed was delighted by the warm welcome and pride that the minister expressed to her. The CNOSD organized training sessions for the second consecutive year. The National Olympic and Sport Committee of Djibouti has organized this morning at the National Technical Center of Training a seminar on Olympic education. This seminar to be held from 28 to 30 October is organized in collaboration with the State Secretariat for Youth and Sport. The purpose of this seminar was first to review the recommendation made for YES and in the first edition held last year. Also, the CNOSD Vice President and the CEHC Sport Director spoke in turn about the achievement made by the two institutions in order to best meet the various recommendations before the launch of the morning program.
Si chacun a respecté les recommandations qui ont été donc aujourd'hui, on fera le point de ces recommandations et puis après on va attaquer le nouveau programme.
The steering committee of the support project of Djibouti local authorities met under the chairmanship of the mayor of Djibouti-Ville, Fatouma Awale Osman. This meeting saw the participations of the presidents of the regional and communal councils, the representatives of the delegation of the European Union, and a representative of the EMF. The associations of French mayor was validated during this meeting the plan of actions and the activities of the project until next February. Finally, the mayor recalled that the activities already started of the project to support the local authorities of Djibouti. The Union for Development and Cultures distributed last Friday clothing to 100 of women and children in the locality of Garabtisans, located in Tajura region. She also distributed school kits of shoes to the students of this locality. Sedentary life or living conditions are difficult. Garabtisan, located 25 kilometers from the Lake Assal, is a hard-to-reach region. It has a primary school where children are educated until the 5-year. Drilling is under construction to improve access to water. The population has given a warm welcome to UAD's delegation, which is very involved in providing support to poor families in remote areas. The ceremony was chaired by the leaders, including President Mohammed Hassan, Vice President of the UDC, Mohammed Khairi, in the presence of Mohammed Sanlasi and Isa. It was also marked by the President of member of the organization and the notables. In his brief speech, Mohammed Khairi thanked the population of Garabtisa for the welcome and emphasized the importance and the need for solidarity. Poverty is not inevitable but a difficult moment that can happen in the life of every human being, he concluded. And now let's move to the continental news. Kenya athlete Abraham Kiptum on Sunday beat the world record in the half marathon by winning the course of Valencia in 58 minutes and 18 seconds. Kiptum dethroned the Ethiopian Sinai, who had managed 48 minutes and 23 seconds in Lisbon in March 2010. The Kenya passed with the leading group in 28 minutes 02 at the 10 kilometers before accelerating to escape and run the 10 kilometers in 25 minutes. He has been the son of the women's world record last year. The Islamic State jihadist group has rejected the Syrian Democratic Force, with the United States supporting its last cut in eastern Syria. The Syria Observatory for Human Rights said on Sunday a coalition of Kurdish and Arab fighters anonymously confirmed that withdrawal of Hajini's pocket, and 7 weeks after the launch of an SDF offensive to oust from this border region of Iraq, backed by the Washington-led international, the anti-IS coalition launched the final stage of an offensive on September 10 to end ISIL's presence in the last Deir ez-Zor. The FDL suffered a setback last week in the shadow of a sandstorm that complicated the area coverage of ground faulting. Here we finish our editions tonight. Thank you for watching us. Goodbye.